take the leftover crawfish etouffee and you put it in like a crescent roll or something, boy. You put that in the oven, you eat that later. Jesus.
Wow.
Try that next
delicious.
time.
Sounds real good.
Man, I like to make fat people food and stuff.
Good food. That's all it is.
Here another week at Bayou Terrebonne Distillers, and we are very excited for this week as normal. But this week we have Ryan Richard from Richard Supply Company. Welcome. Thank you very much for being between the barrels.
Appreciate y'all having me.
Oh man, anytime. I'm glad you came out and hang out with us. We always look forward to our guests, and this week is no exception. So, Richard's, everybody had to pass by your building. Probably one of the best locations.
Everybody knows Richard
everywhere in Houma. But Richard has been in business for 40 years, right? Over 40 years,
40, yeah.
something like that. That's impressive, man. In this area, only in the Houma area, that's something to be proud of. I think.
Appreciate it.
What can you attribute that to being part of this community for that long?
40 plus years and just keep it going, you know?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, my dad started it in 77, and my mom and dad. And, he went through the 80s troubles around here with the economy and all that.
The oil went down, the oil field was bad.
Yeah, so he had to pivot and figure out ways back then of built for restaurants because he started in the restaurant business.
Right.
Thought he was just catering to restaurants and bars.
Right.
And then he had to pivot over to, there's a big industry called oil field over here.
Right.
So he pivoted over to that, and then that went down in the 80s. So I think he had to just kind of, stick and move and not let the grass grow under his feet and figure it out.
Yeah.
So I really think somewhere around the 90s he got in the casino world. And
Really?
yeah, that's what our original location was downtown 99 Verrett Street.
Okay.
So he started there, and then in '96 moved to our current location on Hollywood Road.
Cool.
So somewhere between there, he got into that Biloxi casino.
And y'all started servicing those with
Actually, I never knew that. That's
stuff
cool.
they needed.
Yeah, like all the bar equipment,
Right.
all the buffets. I mean,
Coolers
casinos,
and stuff like that.
Everything that was going in those boats along the Gulf Coast, he had a lot to do with it.
That's awesome.
Which was really cool. Yeah, I remember as a kid getting
Get some
check it
summer
out.
work.
Yeah.
You had to go run to Biloxi for some summer work.
Exactly.
Yeah, I bet that was rough,
Exactly.
right?
Well, I was so young. It was work.
Yeah.
But somewhere in that same amount of time, they started to do larger drill ships for the oil industry, and he did like the two of the largest drill ships in the Gulf also. So
pretty cool.
He made some big moves in that 90s era that really elevated his game. And
You always got to adapt,
yeah,
Reinvent yourself as you go,
I think that's exactly what it was. Because I remember stories when he started. He was selling like pineapple shooters and things that go to bars.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I don't have any of that in the store now.
Right.
It changed as time went on.
Yeah.
It just wasn't the
You got to
equipment.
evolve.
Yeah,
Evolve
just
with the times.
it didn't fit the equipment and supplies and the things that we do. The
Correct.
model. So fast forward all that to when I came along. Obviously he kept playing the game to keep it rolling. But I came in around 2003, and a lot has changed since then. Also, a lot of struggles have come about since then.
Right, with all this COVID.
Is
now,
it something
sure.
that you've always been involved in, or like you kind of did something
Went away
else, or
and then you
always,
came back to
it? Was always
it?
the family business.
No, I mean I started college was a long time. I did some bartending. Started a grass cutting business, pressure washed houses, built swing sets for people, like high-end swing sets.
Right.
Just kind of wanted to work for myself and see what it was about.
Yeah.
And ended up selling that business, I think, in '03. And then that's when I committed full-time to...
Jumped into the family business.
To this
and
business.
now you are the general manager, vice president. What is your actual title at Richard's?
President, no.
President and
Also,
owner of
partners.
Richard Supply Company.
Yeah, partners with my dad. But
That's awesome.
but
So your
yeah.
dad's still involved in it?
Man, he'll always be a mentor. He'll always be...
Yeah, he'll always be there telling
there,
you,
yeah.
giving you stories, telling you what
yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
Being a dad.
He's given me a lot of freedom over the past 4 or 5 years, but
Right.
I mean, it's his baby. He
Yeah.
committed a lot of time and effort to this, so
Which is
he always has
understandable.
his thumb on it, which makes me actually feel like I have a safety net. Like, you're watching me. You're making sure I don't go too far off the
Make
rails.
sure I don't really screw this up, right? Yeah.
And he's a numbers guy, so when he sees the numbers work, he's like,
All right,
keep going.
good job.
That's good. So you've been doing it good now.
I will say that I commend you because you said you built swing sets. I had a swing set built in my backyard. I couldn't build those things for a living. I can tell you that. you must have a lot of patience.
Yeah. The ones I were doing had directions.
Okay.
Kind of.
Yeah. Well, it still seems like a pain in the ass.
Yeah. They are.
Sometimes it could be.
But yeah, that's good. I mean, like you said, it's always good to get in the family business, and I'm sure your dad's very proud of you and where you've taken
Taking the torch and running with it.
It's definitely, like I said, 40 years. It's definitely something to be proud of.
Yeah.
And especially in in this economy that we're facing now and which you've overcome in the past.
Yeah.
So that's it's pretty cool, man. That's really
Appreciate that.
good.
It's really a good.
And I will say that I've been, I go to your store a lot. And you see me there all the time, and it's one of those places that I can't go unattended very often. It's like a candy store for me.
Yep. We like that.
I get in there, and yeah, I'm sure you do.
And you shopping local. You shopping
local, but it's you got a lot of stuff in there, and for me, I do a lot of catering and a lot of cooking on the side. So I do say that you offer a lot of good products, and it's good to see something of that level here in South Louisiana.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think we're unique for this area for sure. We do a lot more than just restaurant supplies. We do a lot more than raw food supplies. We're kind of branding ourselves now as like a kitchen store. So residential,
open
outdoor,
to the public. Everyone could go in there. It's a big misconception. Some people say Richard's, they think it's only commercial, but it's not, and it's been open to the public for a long time now.
It has, and it's always had that stigma. Whenever we're at our old location, moved to our new location, when you say restaurant supply as our company name, it seemed like we were kind of pigeonholing ourselves. So in 2016, we rebranded as a slow rollout and got more generic to let everyone know it's for any kitchen. We actually design outdoor kitchens for residential homes probably just as often as commercial kitchens.
That's awesome.
I think, and you talked about, rebranding yourself and kind of always trying to adapt. You and I have talked about it in this recently, focusing on, hey, if you're at home, you can come here and get professional grade stuff, and you're doing something now, you kind of letting people know, trying out products that you sell, and doing it as in, you can do this at home.
Yeah.
You could cook like a pro is what it's called,
That's
right? It's on
right,
Facebook. It's cook like a pro.
I think you got a couple of videos out and stuff.
We've released 2 of these videos, and that's exactly what it is. It's to tell people you can use these tools and the recipes that we're supplying on these videos, and you can cook like a professional at home.
Yeah.
And it's not to say don't go eat at a restaurant. This is to say up your game at home. You don't have to just barbecue a steak.
Correct.
You're not going to a restaurant 7 nights a week, so when you're at home, you could almost feel like you're at a restaurant.
Exactly.
Have
And you
a couple
can
beers,
you can
follow these
entertain a few
recipes.
people and really wow them with a simple recipe. And that's a lot of what we're doing. Which a simple shout out to the chef Brandon LeBlanc, who's done our first couple videos.
Phenomenal chef.
The guy's amazing, and
very good.
He did these. What he called simple, what I called words I can't pronounce.
Complex.
Like
Semi-complicated.
agave, and people call it agave. He laughs about it. I'm like, what is it? Agave. I'm like, is that like honey? And that's what it is. But
Similar, right?
it's really, he put some recipes together that it's just amazing what he can do with it. So what we're trying to do is show that. Like, take something that's a little bit more than the basics, put it up with these special tools that
Take
we
a little
can offer.
time, take a little effort, put a little love into it.
Yeah, and you can have restaurant quality or professional quality meals at home.
And I can kind of attest to that equipment does make a difference. It makes your life a whole lot simpler when you're cooking, especially for multiple people and catering, different things like that. Or me just at a tailgate or cooking for a few people, a few panas at the house. You got the right equipment, it makes a difference. It really does.
It does.
It makes it a lot simpler.
It's a world of difference.
Yeah, what's funny, like if we go rent a condo and on vacation or something, and we go to cook, my wife and I will. It's like, what is this? Because it bends and it does. We're used to the stuff that we have at our store because we use it. So it is a little bit different. But
you got a knife that don't work very well.
Yeah, dull knives are.
Dull knives suck.
Dull knives are like sticks. You might as well just not use
they're
it.
terrible.
So speaking of you guys' stores, why don't you explain a little bit why you think it's important to shop local?
Man, I think our whole community, and we can even broaden that out to the state, but focusing on Houma,
Right.
our whole community requires all of us to still be here.
Correct.
So if we don't support local, one day you're going to need to go grab something,
Right.
and that store isn't going to be there, and you got to wait on Amazon or whatever 3 days later. So I think the local support is, if we want to survive locally, we have to support local. The restaurants, stores, the hardware stores. I'm a big proponent of local, at least as much as I can be. If it's not
Absolutely.
offered here, then you're ordering it online or you're going out of town to get it. And the
Right.
more people start to look away from local, the more that's
The more
going to
they're
happen.
going to disappear, and then
Yeah.
you're going to be like, well, I need that today. Well, it's not available to you
Right.
because you didn't shop local.
Yep.
And I believe that this area has a lot to offer this community. And,
Whole lot to
you
offer.
can get a lot of stuff here.
The
If you
local
just go out there
distillery.
and look,
Bobby Terrible Distillery. Shout
like
out.
this great Bite Terrible Distillery that we drink out every
At the
week.
Manny Fresh. This thing is delicious, Noah. Great.
Speaking of that, we were going to ask
Manny,
you.
great job.
So
also.
here he goes. You're drinking the
Manny Fresh.
Yep. So
Manny Fresh.
I think this is the first on the episode that we're all drinking the same thing.
Even the back guys are drinking Manny Fresh tonight.
I don't think we
There's
poured
no
anything
Opa
different.
Pause.
We
There's
didn't
no
pour
nothing.
anything different this
The
week.
Manny
so
Fresh is going to be out after tonight.
makes it easy. Well, I'm glad you enjoy the Manny Fresh.
Very good.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, getting back to the local thing, it's we're local guys. We trying to push it, and that's why we kind of give this platform to local community
Leaders
people
and
and
people.
leaders and business owners, and why we're so appreciative of you coming on and talking
Yeah.
to us. But like you said, if we don't support each other, then we're not going to have anything to support at all. So it's very easy to go to your shop. Y'all are very welcoming in there. Ask any questions. I do like that about y'all, that I'm not pushed off, and I don't know everything, and I ask a lot of questions, and y'all are
Yeah.
very willing and supportive of doing that. I know we go back on that thing y'all were talking about with doing the episode. I actually went to the first one, and y'all did it right there in your parking lot.
We did.
And it was pretty cool. I had a couple of pieces of fire disc
Fire
out
disc
there.
is out there.
And
Yeah.
y'all are selling at your store.
Yep.
You had you had a gas grill and
Yep.
that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And I've eaten Chef Brandon's food before. Like you said, he's a phenomenal chef, and and he makes things look a lot easier than they are.
Look,
But
all those guys that are in that culinary background,
yeah,
I mean, I guess it's someone of any skill that's honed that well. They make something that's so hard for someone like me and you to look to even kind of do.
right.
They just knock it out with no effort. And
But seeing him doing it, like seeing him in a parking lot, just doing it like I would be doing in my backyard, even for me, it was like, man, I can do that. That's
Yep.
pretty easy.
They just feel comfortable to
that's
do it.
really the idea. The idea is to show that there was nothing special. We prepared by
I
chopping
think you
everything
said
up.
you did one in Grand Isle. You did one of the recipes,
This
right?
past weekend, I did the shrimp tacos, which is the video we just dropped.
Okay.
And we had, I think there were 6 or 8 of us eating, and everybody was. I had to share the recipe with everyone right after. It was that good.
Everyone was
yeah.
like, wow.
It was that good, and I was capable of doing it. And honestly, although I sell this stuff, I'm not a big cook. I just don't.
So you
cook a
don't
lot.
cook, right? We're
I don't-
actually laughing about that before.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
So you get asked this question a lot, you said.
Yeah, people ask
Do
pretty
you,
often.
what is your favorite thing to cook since you know everything about
Yeah.
cooking now?
What's your favorite
Obviously,
pot? What's
you
your
know
favorite
everything
this?
because you
Yeah.
sell cooking.
Not at all. I got some good stuff at the store. I can tell you what we do use
Right.
as a family. My wife cooks more than me.
Yeah.
There's a few things I like to cook, but it's simple stuff: steak with salt and pepper, something along those lines. It's nothing
Right.
that's.
It's nothing
There's not a lot of
complicated.
ingredients. I'm very inconsistent. If I don't like it when I cook, I just throw it away.
Do you roux or do you jar roux? You cook your own
No,
roux?
no. If I gotta do the roux thing, I'm doing it the real way. I got
Okay, good.
family.
All right.
My brother, my brother-in-law both cook really well.
Okay.
So I participate in that. But
Yeah.
when you got that much family that cooks well, you eat
Just
their
sit
food.
back and enjoy
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Why would you
Nothing
want to
wrong
challenge
with
that?
that,
Telling me you supply with a couple of good spoons
Yeah,
or
I
something.
got-
Let them,
I got that.
I got everything we need to cook in. You
Let-
bring the food
let
and
them
cook
cook
it.
That's it. That's it.
I know that you're an avid outdoorsman, right? Fish a lot and
And try.
always outdoors and stuff like that. What is one of your favorite like outdoors, like South Louisiana, maybe as a kid or something, kind of your moment or memory growing up with South Louisiana?
Man, honestly, anything in the boats
Yeah.
is always there, from the swamp to the ocean. I got plenty of fond ones and some bad ones that probably stick out more.
Yeah.
Like when my dad took me frogging the first time with his buddy, Mr. Barry Blackwell, and the boat broke. And I don't know why. I was young. I was probably 10, 12. I don't know.
Right,
But I
it's
remember
real
all night
dark.
we slept in the middle of the swamp. And then someone finally showed up and towed us, and I don't have a clue where we were. But just recently I asked him that. I'm like, were we right there? He's like, probably so. I think we were violating the territory of
That's probably where we were.
someone else's property.
That's about it, huh?
Yeah, we're probably doing that wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, myself included. When like you said, from the swamp to the ocean, it's always been a fond memory for me. And,
Yep.
we fished a few rodeos together and stuff like that. So it's always good, especially here. We talked about this. I think Noah brought it up when he was on here. But we have like a wonderland out there that a lot of people don't
Realize or take
I
advantage
guess,
of.
Yeah.
or take advantage of. And it's something that we need to protect. And like you said, it's all about the local thing and bringing out your traditions that you do, and being a family and stuff like that. Cooking's part of it. Fishing,
Right.
hanging out, going to Grand Isle.
Yeah.
I mean, we were there.
Having a Manny Fresh.
We were all there together this weekend. I think you said you were in
I was there,
too.
yep.
But we went for the weekend, and it's amazing what Grand Isle's become.
Yeah, yeah.
There's tons of people going there now.
It's a lot of people. It was a lot of fun. They had that Trump parade Saturday. The amount of boats was insane.
I will tell you what, producer Norm and I back there, we drove up Sunday morning and we came over the bridge and we looked over, and the amount of boats was
Unbelievable,
just ridiculous.
Staggering.
Like, I don't care who you vote for in November 3rd, but to see like the amount of people coming together was pretty impressive.
It was.
If
It was amazing how many boats were in Grand Isle.
Yeah.
Where did they all go?
And they were all together in Grand
Like,
Isle.
what happened
Yeah,
afterwards?
yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
Like
If there
Sandal
wasn't
was
1,000
probably happening
boats-
at the end.
Yeah.
If there wasn't 1,000 boats, there wasn't one.
I've heard a lot of different numbers from all the pictures that we looked at, but I would agree. It was the most boats I've ever seen.
That's crazy.
In the waters of
It's
Grand
good to see people going out and trying to enjoy
We're
the.
coming together for something, whether
Yeah.
you support
Whatever
it or
that
not.
reason
Just,
is, right?
correct.
Yeah,
just coming
exactly.
together and believing in something.
So speak to me a little bit. And, you and I have had a conversation about this in the past, and it's kind of whole. You reached out to me, and we talked about this, and we're very passionate about it. And it kind of goes on to the local thing, supporting local. I know you got your feelers out there with all the restaurant owners and different people. You got friends that own businesses around this town. What are some of the challenges we're facing now as a community because of everything going on? You all feel, not doing so well.
Yeah.
The pandemic and everything.
Kind of like a
that.
double whammy on us, like bam, bam, left,
all at
right.
one time. And I'll kind of back up to why I think I have I guess an opinion and a pulse on what I feel is going on.
Right.
I serve on a national board of directors for the buying group that my company's in. I'm on my fourth year this year.
That's awesome.
So I talk to a lot of people from all the tips of the
All
country.
parts of the country.
And we have meetings and we talk about, what just happened, where is it going, how is the restaurant industry going to rebound from this, and then how is just the general populace going to deal with it, because people are scared right now. And
Yeah.
they were scared. They're
Big time.
They think everything's dirty. They hand sanitize after they touch anything.
Yeah.
And it's whatever reason that is. It's really affecting the local economies everywhere.
Correct.
So around here, the restaurants were, it was hard to get anyone to go to them, obviously due to the rules of the phases we're in. But in addition to that, people are just like, it's easier to cook at home. Look, we saw it in business. We saw more people wanting to cook at home than ever.
Right.
And a lot of that had to do with the fear to get out and touch somebody or see
Correct.
somebody
Easier
or be
to stay
breathed
home.
on.
It's,
Yeah,
it's much more healthy.
it's
and,
safer.
Right, safer.
And then they had the quarantine period where no one was getting out, but we're essential because hospitals, the oil field, things like that fall under the essential
Right.
world. So we were
categories, and
supplying.
they need your supplies.
Yeah, we were supplying some people, but honestly, I gave all my staff an opportunity not to go. You know, no one was forced to come.
Right.
No one was asked anything beyond their desire to not be on it. Because look, if this was something that you were fearful or fearful for your family or whatever the case was, we didn't want to obviously intervene with that feeling.
Right.
But with the credibility that I had by talking to all these people around the country, when we look at little Houma, it's like, all right, well, you know how we're always late to the party and everything? Like California
everything,
does it, New York does it, and then 6 years later, Houma gets it. We were seeing trends that others were doing, and a lot of my restaurant friends and, you know, the people that we do business with were asking, what do you think? So we were probably the first ones in town to start offering those plexiglass shields because they said these barriers are going to be a big deal.
Right.
So a lot of local businesses bought these plexiglass
barriers
from us.
Right.
And now you pretty much see them everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Now they're almost in every business.
And I think
They should probably stay up, I think. I mean, even though after all this is done.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a norm for a while.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, we don't know where the norms are going to go from here on out.
We have no idea what is the new norm.
Right. And that was a
We
popular
only know
statement
tune by
right off.
norm.
Right, we only know 2 by norm. Well, we really don't know where this is all going to fall, right? I mean,
Or when it's going to end
When
or
it's gonna end,
whatever. Yeah. You see a lot of people getting relaxed on the mask thing.
Yeah, I go into a lot of places where they have people who don't have masks on, which is places I like to frequent, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to wear a mask, I mean, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and honestly, there's no right or wrong in all of it, right? Because nobody has that
It's your own
answer.
prerogative.
At first, we sold out of latex gloves. They were such a hot commodity. Latex gloves, face masks, the KN95 masks, hand sanitizers.
Yeah.
I know Noah and them were producing some.
at one point you couldn't get your hands on a bottle of hand sanitizer
Or you could not
cleaning
find that
supplies or
anywhere.
anything.
We were sourcing stuff from, I can't even tell you the states, and much less some of the countries. We were sourcing large amounts for, bulk disbursement, and it was wherever we could find it. It didn't matter what the cost was. You either needed it or you didn't.
Right.
And so we were
people
paying
paid it.
triple, quadruple the price for gloves.
crazy.
And the glove epidemic is still going on. Like, there's still a shortage of gloves.
Really?
It's crazy.
Now I hear that I was visiting somewhere. I don't know. I guess I was getting food at McDonald's or something. There's a coin shortage or something that going on. Like people aren't using coins or anything. They're asking you to use like their
I think
Cards.
they don't want the
exact
hand-to-hand
change,
touching. Yeah, they don't
exact
want,
change or cards.
Yeah.
right. They don't want them touching the coins and touching
Yeah.
you, but it doesn't matter if they touch your
So I
card
guess
or
that's the
touch
thing
you.
with
It's-
the gloves and all too.
Yeah.
So,
Well, as that all started to evolve, we saw the PPE stuff start to slow down a little bit, but now it's just a product on our shelves.
yeah.
I always had gloves because food service you use gloves.
Yeah.
I always had a couple,
Yeah,
but
we
now we
always
have
have to.
we have thermometers that you scan foreheads. I mean, we had food thermometers, but not it. There's things that we've just added to our mix now because the new
'Cause the,
acceptance of this is
The industry
better to
kind of demanded that you have
Yeah.
these items.
Yeah.
So
And a lot of restaurants, like the larger chains, I guess you would say, are creating jobs that are like the clean quality control person. They never
Right.
had that before.
Right.
No,
They have the
that wasn't even
sanitizing, whatever,
these
sensei,
new
like they're making
made
up,
up jobs.
they're making up crazy names.
Sanitizing sensei.
Yeah, and it's
I like
true.
that.
Like their new job is like you scan everybody, make sure they're not hot, and whatever.
Make sure
Make
everything's
sure
good
that
to go.
everything's wiped,
And
then
then
you
go
go spray everything
sanitize
down.
everything.
Yeah, spray everything and don't wipe it. Because most of those cleaners you can't wipe it. If you wipe it, you're basically making it useless.
Right.
And there's certain cleaners, I think it's type N cleaners that you have to spray to sanitize everything, anything around. And they have several local companies that are doing that. And again, restaurants are kind of leaning towards that because they want their customers to feel safe.
Right.
So if you go to a restaurant, you see a sticker on the door that says clean or sanitized by X company.
Right.
That's good.
You're like, all right, I'm cool with this. I'll
I
go
can
in.
come in here and
you
eat,
go in there
spend
and eat.
money.
Yeah.
Come in here,
Where
I
you
eat,
can
I
feel
spend money.
comfortable.
You can feel safe, and that's what a lot of people, again, doing this back to this credibility thing of talking to these people. They're like, what a lot of people want to know is they want to know if they're safe, if what they're eating is safe, is what's
Right.
served to them safe, if what's the end result of them going out, that they're safe to go back home into their private environment, and they want that feeling. So if they're walking into a restaurant and that restaurant's just like, forget about it, we're just going to do whatever. You're less likely to get that person that's concerned.
Right, yeah.
Not saying everyone's concerned, but a lot of people are still concerned.
Yeah, a
We
lot
s-
of people are still concerned.
Yeah, we see people walking us through all day with masks on.
Yeah, I
Some
see
of them,
people
as
with
soon as
masks
they
all
walk
the
in, go,
time.
"Can I take this off?" And some of them, mean, they're like,
It's not even a question.
you can tell that they walk around with a 6-foot pole.
Yeah, I call on a lot of people all throughout the state, and some companies you go into, to, like you said, still kind of standoffish. Better wear your mask. Some people don't. I mean, some companies not even letting people back in their offices yet. So, I think it's something we're gonna have to live with for a while, and I'm glad that to hear that you kind of saw that and trying to accommodate as best as you can. It's very important locally to be able to, if I gotta get some
Feel
masks
safe where you're going to eat, or feel safe to get masked somewhere.
Yeah. And I mean, the short end of it, and this is kind of what I tell my team, if these restaurants don't make it through this, if these bars don't make it through this, then we struggle that much more as a company.
Right.
Correct.
Even though we've kind of pivoted because, I'm not a person that lets grass grow under my feet, so I'm going to figure out whatever my next play is, and we're going to move to that direction.
Yeah.
But as a company, we want local restaurants to just come, even if they're just coming in for the small stuff, even if they just were short on an order from corporate, and they need to, even if they just need to use it for service. It doesn't matter. The idea is, if those guys don't make it, then kind of in
Who's
a
going
sense,
to need
we
you
get hurt.
at that point, right?
Exactly. So that's my opinion back on the local thing from the beginning. We have to support each other.
You have to keep pumping in local. It's
Yeah.
important as a local business owner to give back to the
Yep.
community,
Yes,
tend to worry about what's happening in the
definitely
community.
want the economy here to go down, and it's all, if we don't do something, we're not proactive on it, and it's all gonna happen. So,
Yeah. It's all that statement of local money gets spent over and over and over, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
Just
if
keeps recycling.
the waiter, the waitress, the bartender, the manager, the owner, all those people have a chance to go and spend money in your store if you're a local owner. So you should go support them.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's basically money passing back and forth.
Correct.
And you can take that to any business in this town, whether it's oil related or whether it's a dental office or whatever. Those people eventually need teeth work. Those
Right.
people eventually need to go see a doctor, whatever it is. So, not saying the restaurant's the heart of a community, but it kind of
It
is.
pumps in a lot
because a
of-
lot of money goes through it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's a cycling thing.
it's a big community support thing.
Speaking of restaurants, food, your favorite Cajun dish would be what? If you could only eat one Cajun dish again.
Crawfish at Tuesday.
Oh, that's a good one.
I
That's
like
the first
it.
one too.
And I like
My
it that
wife-
you
my
knew
wife
it
makes
right
it really
away
good.
like that. Like, there's no questions about it.
That's an at-home deal.
Yeah.
My wife makes a really good one, and that,
Really?
if I didn't say that, she would probably be like, "You're lying." I'm standing by that.
That's my sword. I'm sticking to
wife's
it.
Cajun etouffee.
I gotta say, I do love
Oh,
crawfish etouffee.
Me too. You
It's
put
really
potatoes in there. Good stuff, man.
Then you take the leftover crawfish etouffee and you put it in like a crescent roll or something, boy. And you put that in the oven. You eat that later. Jesus.
Wow,
Try
that
that
sounds
next
delicious.
time.
Sounds
Really
real good.
Man, I like to make fat people food.
Good food. That's
I
all it
usually
is,
take
bro.
regular food and turn it into fat kid food. Pretty much the reason why I'm fat. It's okay.
Works every time.
Yeah, my friends are well aware of this problem I have. But yeah, all right. So
Crawfish
we got crawfish etouffee, favorite Cajun food. We talked about outdoors and stuff like that, and just kind of like to touch a little bit else on growing up in South Louisiana and things like that. You're from Houma, always been here. Obviously, we talked about business being here for 40 years. What is something that you would like to see Houma, Terrebonne Parish move forward to in the next 10 years or so? Where would you like to see it, or what would you like to see kind of us evolve to?
Evolve. Good word.
It's a big question because recreational-wise, community-wise,
I would say community-wise.
Or community-wise, downtown area-wise, like.
yeah. I mean, I like downtown because downtown's always got the pulse of any city you go to. You know,
Yeah.
it's always you go downtown and see what this thing started with and where it's at. I used to travel a fair amount. 4 or 5, 6 times a year, I'd go to conferences or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I like downtown revitalizations, but it's hard to create a downtown revitalization unless you create the buzz on why to create a downtown revitalization.
Right.
So I do hope that downtown can pick up, but honestly, we have a bayou right here behind this building.
Yeah.
That could be the coolest bayou, just like a couple other cities that have done that. So I would love to see people kayaking down this bayou.
That would be bad.
That's pretty cool.
I would like to take my little boat
Yeah.
from the Intracoastal and come over here to have a drink.
I actually would like to see that too. We had a conversation
Yeah.
about that.
We even
a
talked
while
about
back.
putting the boat and doing this episode actually tonight, live from the bayou, because we got the boat from work.
Yeah, Mitch and I were actually talking about it this weekend, buying some kayaks and being able to like go in the bayou and stuff. I think it'd
Sure.
be really cool.
Yeah.
You actually got offered a inflatable kayak
Yeah,
this
shoot.
weekend.
Yeah.
One of our friends offered to give him
Yeah,
an
I don't know
inflatable
how-
kayak.
He said I can give
We
you
don't know how reliable it's going to be when you hit the first cypress knee, but hey,
hit the first stinking
Take a
thing
chance,
now,
brother.
now, you know, now,
They got some good ones out there.
now I'm thinking, but yeah, that's actually a really cool thing. I think they've tried it before with downtown, like P-Rog races and things like that. I've seen things in different areas, floating events, stuff like that. Maybe have like maybe we could convince Noah to have a band on the balcony right here, and everybody go.
don't
float
do in a
down-
while. My twos live from
Go.
Bayou Terrebonne.
Doug News, our favorite band, but just to kind of get something. That's a great idea. Like you said, it flows down the heart of downtown.
Yeah.
It's beautiful down there.
It's the most underused, asset, I guess,
That we
as a
have.
community. Yeah. And I mean, travel this thing all the way to Thibodeau. It gets worse and worse as you go.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, it's kind of like our little hidden jewel that's just sitting here, and it goes through downtown. So I think almost like a revitalization of downtown, it would require that to do that, because it would be like San Antonio as an example of
That's
something
really
that's built on the bayou.
That's
that
a
they
really
call
good
it.
I think that like we could be like them on the river, us on the bayou.
Our bayou's natural.
That'd be bad to the
Yeah.
Their
boat.
rivers.
And our music's better,
their
much
river's
better.
not.
Everybody has speakers and pointed at the bayou, and whenever you paddle them down, you could.
Sure, you could hear whatever.
And
You
it
can
goes
jam
all the
out.
way to to the bridges and everything. There's
Yeah.
a really cool area down there, a dock and
Yeah,
nice
the
cool.
And it goes all the way
and all,
intracoastal.
the
So
dock all along.
if you come in from the intracoastal, what would be cool is if you could take a little boat over here. If they just limit the motor or something like that to a small
Yeah.
motor, we could make it.
Well,
You could make
9.9.
it safe. Yeah.
Anything
Little
under 10,
9.9, yeah, little 9.9. Saw a kayak with one on that.
9.9 on that.
Yeah, actually, it's
lazy.
something it's funny you mentioned that, but it's something we've talked about, and I would love to see that too. That'd be really cool. I love being on the water. Anything,
Yeah.
–
And it would really heighten recreation, because look, you get like I live on the water now, and my son he's got that water blood in him.
Yeah.
So he
Right.
kayaks, and he's got little buddies that live by him, and they kayak and they fish. And I'd much rather him see him doing that than
And doing all
get
this
in
other-
trouble somewhere else.
Yeah.
So
Or even just being inside on these games.
yeah,
It's much better for
get
them to be.
outside, go.
Right,
Go
absolutely.
learn the bayou. Now, look, we make sure there's a safety zone. They're not allowed
For
to go
sure,
towards the intracoastal.
yeah.
But in all reality, they learn more doing that than I could teach them walking
sure.
the streets of my neighborhood.
That's awesome.
That's
So
a
it is
really good idea. That's something that I haven't heard somebody say out loud. At
Right.
all, ever.
Utilizing
that's,
the bayou right here.
That's
good.
actually a really good idea. So for all you that we got a guest coming on
Junior
next
auxiliary,
week.
what is they on?
We got Chris Pulaski coming
okay,
on
right?
next
That's
week.
what we're about to say. Next week we got
This is
downtown.
staged.
I think he did it to you on purpose. I'm just saying. I don't know. Well, we're gonna talk to him about
Chris
it next
Pulaski
week.
is
when he
our
comes on.
guest next week.
That's awesome.
That'd be the hot question on Between the Barrels is, hey man, can we get something on the bayou right here? That'd be
Yeah.
really cool.
That's it. That's the first question so far. Guy in the back who writes the bayous and stuff. Put that down, buddy.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's something like that hasn't really been thought. Like I know they tried to do the downtown thing, and they
The
we've done
revitalization.
the revitalization, and marked off the court square and stuff like that. But that'd be, and it ties in our culture as well.
I mean, they got the Terrebonne Museum. Like, there's so many things that already have that access if they just turn it and
If they
face.
turn it around instead of
Yeah,
from the
or
street.
have double
view.
face and just utilize
Right.
that.
Yeah, and what's the place down there? Elks Lodge has a really cool back.
Yeah, we went hang
patio
out there
thing.
one time.
They have a really cool area back there.
Well, they have several restaurants.
That's the boardwalk. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what they call it, but
Right. They
this
do
is
have an
Main
actual
Street,
little
there's a
boardwalk.
boardwalk that comes way down. I think it actually ends, I guess, right across the street from here. A little bit further.
A little bit further down.
Walking,
Yeah. That'd be something really.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome that everybody can enjoy.
Well, and it could really help the economy. So you already have
Right.
restaurants doing it. You'd have a lot of these older buildings being bought in backwards face.
Yeah.
You don't need the street traffic as much as you'd get some.
You
boat
could use the
traffic.
bayou traffic.
Honestly, you got the right guy coming next week to talk about it. So look, back in college, I took my bike from my house with a few of my buddies to Nichols a couple times for school. And everyone looked at me like
Bicycle
I
or
was
your
insane. A
motorcycle?
bicycle.
Wow.
Like
bicycle.
pedaled to class and then pedaled back, right? So, and I wasn't a big biker. It was just like I drank too much. I want to sweat it out, so let's go take a bike. So I did that a couple times, but I promise you, people would go from Houma to Thibodeau by boat,
Absolutely.
not to go to school. They would just do it because
Just
it's
to go,
just a cool ride.
Just to go a little ride.
Yeah,
You know,
and
I
you
would
could
do it.
let your friends on the boat.
You could
Have a
stop by
couple
Bourgeois
drinks.
and get a jerky. There's so many cool things you could do on the way down.
Dude,
I mean, you can.
there you
have a
go.
little-
Right there is a reason to go to Thibodeau.
I mean, I already want to do it. Let's go paddle it.
Let's go.
You got the boat?
The boat
You
is
can have
right
your
there, I
little
swear.
tour
Yo,
going
anybody
down
out
there. I mean, think
knows
about
anybody
the
at
history.
Bourgeois?
Think about the history from the intercoastal to Thibodeau going down the bayou.
To make. The other part is all these businesses down here have always used that as a backyard.
Right.
So it's ugly in most cases.
Clean it up.
And that's what that would be revitalization.
Well,
So,
great
Mr.
guess.
Richard, we're going to ask you a serious question here.
So
I would like to wrap
We're
it
gonna
up
talk
with our
about
guests.
Terrebonne Lafouche because I'm Terrebonne.
Oh, here
Before
we go.
that question comes out,
So then I'm not even going to ask the question. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he plays cutthroat.
cut through.
My man's a cut.
Cutthroat Pedro
I
player.
can play both. I think everybody that
I think
lives around here
everybody that
can.
plays Pedro,
Yeah, but
could.
fella suit's not
I
the
think
right.
everybody. It's not the right way to play it, but okay. I think everybody, like you said, I think everybody that's going to Nichols for at least
Yeah.
a semester learn how to play both.
At least a semester.
yeah, if you went to Nichols, I bet you played follow suit.
I've played both. I got friends from both sides of
Right.
the fence, but
Yeah.
If you got a couple of
it's,
Lafouche boys,
it's an argument every time whenever that one Lafouche person's around four Terrebonne people. Because they're always hard-headed that they got to play the
hey man, watch how you talk about Lafouche people.
Just tell it.
I appreciate you sitting between the barrels,
He's
but now you
offended
talk
every
about
time.
Lafouche
That's,
people.
that's exactly why I was directing it.
You might end up in the barrel instead of between the
Lafouche guy.
He's
barrels.
always the one with the push guy.
There's always the one Lafouche guy. Proud of it, dude.
I said it in the last episode. I learned how to play at a truck stop eating corn nuggets drunk as hell. So
Sal Lafouche, 1996.
I'm all good.
Same class.
Well,
Same class.
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt,
96.
96. Wow, man, there you go. Class of 96.
There we go.
Man, I think we're coming up on like 25 years or something.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've been out of high school. So.
did you participate in the alumni softball tournament last
We
year?
did.
That was fun.
We got our ass whooped. But it was fun.
We made it pretty far. Last
None of the
year.
baseball players came then.
Yeah.
We had all the soccer players and some football players. We're like, where's the guy that played baseball?
Right. Yeah.
It was fun. That was a great event.
That was a good time. I hope we get to do things
I
like
hope
that
that gets
again.
to happen.
Yeah, I know it got postponed for now because I got the invite and was told that it was postponed. But hopefully, all those. I mean, that's good for the area. Terrebonne had one, Vanderbilt had one. Pretty much everybody now has one. So
Right on.
lots of people showed up last year.
That was a big event. They did a good
good.
job.
Well, Mr. Ryan, I appreciate you coming.
Yes, sir.
Once again, come and sit between the barrels. Chad, I think we already touched on it. We got Mr. Chris Pulaski coming with
Chris
us
Pulaski's
next
coming
week.
next Wednesday. Sit between the barrels. We'll definitely talk about the utilization of Bayou Terrebonne, if that could maybe be in the master plan.
That's a great idea.
It's a great idea. So hopefully he watches this episode before he comes on.
Like we've been preaching all episodes, support local. Go out and check out Mr. Ryan at the
Go to Richard's.
Richard's, and,
Public's always invited out there. Go out there. They got great supplies and actually watch their videos. And you can learn how to cook like a pro.
That's it.
They
Thank you,
go
man.
pick up his cool stuff. They even got those little ice cube things to make drinks with.
Big cubes.
Yeah,
My boy,
I got a question.
Mr. Bayou Terrebonne guy. All right. So for Manny, I'm Chad. Mr. Ryan.
We
That's
out.
it. We out.